Hello. Okay, so today we have to discuss about the sample size calculation. There are two methods that we can use. Okay, so there are two methods. The first one is the Cochrane, and that's also known as the WHO calculator one. And the second one is the OpenEpi. I personally prefer the OpenEpi one, but there are just like the pros and cons of both. So let us go through the OpenEpi one for the first time. Okay. Let me open up the OpenEpi calculator. So I will write here OpenEpi cross-sectional study for cross-sectional study. Okay. So this is here. OpenEpi is a very vast software. It will help you calculate the sample size for cohort, cross-sectional. Although the methods are different, but you can find the videos for that on YouTube also. What I will be making you guys go through that would be for the cross-sectional one. Okay. That is the main one, and the main methodology is almost the same. Okay, so I will press here the enter new data. And firstly, it's asking me what is your population size. It's population size determination is a thing on its own that you have to bear with me for now. Okay, let me give you an examples, and then we will see how to calculate the samples population size. Okay, for example, I am conducting a cross-sectional study on anxiety and depression in medical students, and my population is first year to final year medical students. So in first year, I have around 100 students, and in second year again 100 students. For 5 years, I would have around 500 students, and I would be collecting data from them of one medical college. Okay, so what I would write here, I would write here my population is 500. It's asking me what is the anticipated frequency that you are expecting. Like I am deciding about the prevalence of anxiety in medical students. Okay. So, what I have to do, I have to find a parent article. I will make you guys go through what is a parent article. Okay. Anxiety prevalence, medical students, cross sectional. Suppose this is my parent article. Okay. Prevalence of anxiety among medical students of this college, DG Khan Medical College. Okay. So, and I will go in their results section, and they have mentioned that the prevalence of severe anxiety was observed in females students was slightly higher than male student, and it was about 22%. Okay. And around male, it's also around 22%. So I can say the anxiety that was determined was 22%. If I have to be more sure, I can just go through the article and read it in detail to just find out the anxiety. But I have just gone through the abstract and find out the prevalence of anxiety. The confidence limit would remain the same. That is a 5% error and 5% margin of error because if I am 95% sure, the limit would be 5%. Okay, so I would press here and I will calculate. And it's showing me with this population and this frequency, at 95% confidence level, your sample size should be 173. You should be collecting data from 173 students to represent this population. And this is the formula that this software used to calculate it. Okay. So this was for the medical students. Suppose around I am conducting a study, a cross-sectional study on um, patients that are presenting in the medical OPD. Okay. And I am doing a study on anemia. Okay. I will write here anemia in pregnant female. Okay. I'm doing a research on the women that are pregnant and that are presenting in the gynae OPD and how many women have anemia. So I will go again in the result section, and it has said that around this much pregnant females were presented to the ward, and 17% were diagnosed with anemia during pregnancy. Okay, it's 17.7, that is 8. I set up my limit that I will collect data for around 1 month. Ideally, it should be more than 6 months. That is what the guidelines suggest, that you should collect data for more than 6 months to get appropriate data. Okay. So suppose I could collect data for 1 month. Okay. For just for supposition purposes, we are doing that. And in one day, I get patients around 50. So in in 1 month, how many patients I will be getting? That would be 50 into 30, 1500. Okay, so that's my population. I can collect data from this many population. Okay, and what's the frequency? That was 18% anemia. Okay, and I will calculate it. So it's saying that you should collect data from 198 females to represent this population if you are saying that the anemia frequency is around 18%. Okay. So that's how you calculate the sample size using this software. One another example that we have is that is if and I'm collecting data from a ward and I'm collecting data on diabetics. So what I can do is that there are around 10 patients with diabetes in my ward and or hypertension you can say, and they are being replaced every second day. Okay, so in 30 days, how much would they be? My exposure would be around 10 into 30, that would be 150 diabetics I am exposed to. Okay, and diabetic population, I can say the prevalence is just same again. I would have to find my parent article and I say the anticipated frequency is around how many patients had diabetes, around 30%. So I will calculate it, and it's saying that you should collect data from around uh, 103 people to represent this population. Okay, so that was using the Open API. Next, we will discuss the Cochrane calculator.